beats, yo. Beats, yo, beats, yo. Get at me for beats, yo.
I'm like Gons. No, I'm like Basil from Canary Cry. News talk, I guess. It happens. Anyway, you'll tell me if it's buffering, and if it is, I'm super sorry, because it's given me kind of a yellowish, yeah, to red color. Anyway, I'm going to move on. I want you guys to know I picked some fun articles to talk about today, and the reason I did that is because I just do draws often. Thank you, Brooke. I appreciate that because I also prayed, but it was a really quick, oh no, pray. Like, this isn't good. And I should have thought to pray beforehand instead of the oh no prayer. But I'm glad the audio is good. Before I go over some great articles, and especially the article that will tell you guys how no one has died of or from the FOVID, you're going to want to stick around for that. I have a raffle. This is what's called a satellite raffle because this raffle is not filling up as fast as I would like. But you get 5 ounces of silver. You get 5 buffaloes. So it's 25 a spot, or you get 2 for 40. You pay with Cash App. Join the Discord. If you're not sure how to do this, then I'm going to give you the link. Here's a Discord channel. And you just pay through Cash App. All right? And Brooke still has winnings that I'm holding on to for when she comes to the States. Those are still up here waiting for you, Brooke. But whoever wins this satellite silver, they get silver too. It's not just a satellite. You get some silver. You get a spot on this. One single spot. One itty bitty spot. So you might want to buy 2 more to make your odds even better. So we've got Rockman, Mr. Dr. Michael, Justin, Patricia, and Ben's on this raffle. So I wish the best of luck to all of them. Stick around because we've got some fun articles to go over, especially the one that no one has killed and died from it. No one. Not a one. So here we go. Drum roll. Here we go. Generating a result. Generate this result, please. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let's just wait. Number 8. Yes. It happened. Ben's. Mr. Ben's Schwaggle of the Schwaggleness. He has won. He hath won. Brooke says it is a must for streaming. When I was doing Zoom prayer calls every day, had to do it because the warfare was huge. Played worship before, and it would stop the interference. Yay! That is very likely, and I should do better. I want you guys to know that bees are dying of disease eerily similar to coronavirus, so don't think this is over anytime soon, because now your bees are dying. And aren't they funny? The New York Post, they say, the latest buzz. Let me check the stream real quick. and it's really red. But you guys tell me if it's just too much to handle. If it's too much to handle, I can always stop and start again. The science world. Honeybees are dying of something that is freakishly similar to the FOVID. The bee populations around the globe have been decimated by a viral disease that creeps into hives in the middle of the night via asymptomatic insects and spreads like wildfire. British researchers have discovered. This isn't BS, this is totally true. Their research even suggests the insects could benefit from social. This isn't the stupidest thing you guys have. I want you guys to know that these masks are going to totally help all that. The social distancing, which these two are not doing, and I think somebody needs to alert the authorities right now. What's going on with these two? Somebody call. Where is that snitch hotline? Does anyone know where that is? Let's find the snitch hotline. We're calling in on these two right here. They are not social distancing. I don't care if you're friends, family, or, you know, twins that are attached at the hip. You cannot be close together. Okay, this is a problem. The bubonic plague known as the Black Death in the Middle Ages, which did that really exist, is a highly infectious and often fatal disease. That is, didn't we just say that? How many times are they going to repeat themselves? The plague is an infectious disease caused by Yersinia pestis, usually found in small mammals. Well, they keep saying the same thing over. What is it? There it is. We just told us. What's the difference between bubonic and pneumonic? Bubonic is the most common form of the plague, but cannot be easily transmitted between people. Some people with bubonic will develop pneumonic. Pneumonic, or lung-based plague, is the most virulent form of plague ever and has an incubation period as short as 24 seconds. Okay, it says hours. A person with pneumonic plague may transmit the disease to others through coughing via droplets, but if you wear a mask with big holes in it, no one else will ever catch it. Okay? Isn't that great news? Can there be human-to-human transmission? Person-to-person transmission is possible through the inhalation of infected respiratory droplets of a person who has the pneumonic plague. Common antibiotics are efficient to cure the plague. Oh, stop. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. Cure. We cannot have a cure for this. This article needs to get pulled. Somebody pull this article. Somebody, hello? Anyone? I gotta get on the phone. I need to call the snitch phone line. Snitch phone line. We have an article that says this can be cured, and we want people to die everywhere before this can be cured. So, hello? How can you dare give out the answer to how to treat the bubonic pneumonic plague? Oh, guys, this is bad. How are we going to get this? How are we going to get this to spread if people know they can recover from it, you guys? What are we going to do? Can dead bodies? If someone you know has died in your house, it is a good idea to get them out of your house because they can spread a lot of things, including the Black Death. So if anyone dies in your house, just bring out your dead. When has it happened in the past? The Middle Ages. The Middle Ages. Tens of millions of people around the world. In this major pandemic, all of Europe was wiped out. All of them. The bacterium is believed to have originated in Yunnan. Always in China. China, China, China. All right, moving on. I want you to know that it is now illegal, according to China, to have global activism anywhere. The draconian on Hong Kong last week contains an article making it illegal for anyone in the world to promote democratic reform for Hong Kong. Why does this matter? China has long sought to crush organized dissent abroad through quiet threats and coercion. Now it has codified that practice into law around the world to choose between speaking freely and ever stepping foot in Hong Kong again. Well, I've never been there and I'm not ever going, so don't care about this. Article 38 of the National Security Law states this law shall apply to offenses under this law committed against the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region from outside the region by a person who is not a permanent resident of the region. In other words, every provision of the law applies to everyone outside of Hong Kong, including you. Several experts in Chinese and international law confirmed this interpretation of the law to Axios, which is where I'm reading this from. It literally applies to every single person on the planet and their dog. This is how it reads. If I appear at a congressional committee in D.C. and say something critical, that literally would be a violation of this law. This means that anyone advocating democracy in Hong Kong or criticizing the governments in Hong Kong or Beijing could potentially face consequences if they step foot in said family members there. So you are not safe if you have family there. Don't screw your family up on this, I guess. One of the main purposes of having the national security law is to quash the international front of the movement. This pro-democracy lawmaker said, "For Hong Kong, we have to understand that it is the foreground of a very global fight, authoritarianism versus democracy. The big picture, this marks a historically unprecedented expansion of extraterritoriality." Ooh, that's a fun word. Extraterritoriality, the application of a country's domestic laws abroad. U.S. counterterrorism laws have a degree of extraterritoriality, but those laws are intended to fight actual violent terrorism, not free speech, and are used to crush peaceful political are not used to crush peaceful. Oh, that's being used. All right, come on now. New law codifies and extends to non-Chinese nationals the extraterritorial practices that the Chinese Communist Party has long applied to its citizens abroad. Earlier this year, a Chinese student at University of Minnesota was sentenced to 6 months in prison upon returning home to China for tweeting criticizing Xi while he was in the U.S. So there you go. It's getting more and more totalitarian. Hong Kong, what to watch for? Hong Kong authorities may begin this is not too bad later, and maybe the buffering will stop. But what makes me sad is that no one is really protesting what's going on here, really. And these Antifa and BLM groups are getting away with really horrible stuff, and we're not doing much about it. So with that, I have the last article, but I don't know if I'm even connected. It says I'm connected over here. It says that I'm in the red, but that I'm still going. But I'm not getting anything about these chats aren't coming through. I don't even know what they say. Try to refresh it. See what happens. Because I've only got one more article. Like, it's just one more. I've only got one more article. Odd, odd, odd. Well, I don't know. You guys aren't able to message me and tell me what's going on. All right, well, I'm going to push through and hope for the best. And Jesus, I pray that this is better so I could finish this last article, because this is the best one of all, that says, "No one has died from the coronavirus. Important revelations shared by Dr. Stoyan Alexov, president of the Bulgarian Pathology Association." So he's not just some guy that doesn't know anything. He is the president of the Bulgarian Pathology Association. And here we go. A high-profile European pathologist is reporting that he and his colleagues across Europe may have not. Now, good. I just started this article, which is the very last article I want to do, that says no one has died from the coronavirus. These are important revelations shared by Dr. Stoyan Alexov, president of the association. So again, I said once before, but I'll say it again, that he is the president of this pathology association, and therefore he's not just some guy with an opinion that doesn't know anything. A high-profile European pathologist is reporting that he and his colleagues across Europe have not found any evidence of any deaths from the novel coronavirus on that continent. Dr. Stoyan Alexov called the World Health Organization a criminal. Hello. Thank you for this little malfunction and patience with me. What happened is now my headphones died. This is quite the day. The streaming has got to get this article read. It's really important. So try to come back later if you just can't stick through it or whatever's going on. I hope everything will work out okay. I think we're still streaming, but I don't know. It's hard to tell. He called the World Health Organization a criminal medical organization for creating worldwide fear and chaos without providing objectively verifiable proof um, of a pandemic. There's no proof of a pandemic. Another stunning revelation from Bulgarian Pathology Association president, and he's a president, Dr. Alexov, is that he believes it's currently impossible to create a vaccine against the virus. This is so important, you guys, but nobody will talk about this, but we should know this. He also revealed that European pathologists haven't identified any antibodies that are specific for SARS-CoV-2. These stunning statements raise major questions, including about officials and science. They also raise doubt about the veracity of claims of discovery of anti-novel coronavirus antibodies, which are beginning to be used to treat patients. Novel coronavirus specific antibodies are supposedly the basis for expensive serology test kits being used in many countries, some of which have been found to be inaccurate. Now, these have links for everything in here. This article links everything they're saying and backing it up. There's so many links in here. I'm not going to click them all for you guys, but I will give you the article because if I can't get through, I don't know what YP means, but cool. I don't know what it means. Okay. And they're purportedly key to the immunity certificates coveted by Bill Gates that are about to go into widespread use in the form of a COVID pass in 15 countries, including the UK, the US, and Canada. Dr. Alexov made his jaw-dropping observations in a video interview summarizing the consensus of participants in May 2020 in the European Society of Pathology webinar. This video interview was conducted by this guy, the chair of the Center for Protection of Citizens' Rights in Sofia, and a former Bulgarian Deputy Minister of Health. The video is on the BPA's website, highlights some of Dr. Alexov's main points. We asked a native Bulgarian speaker with a science background to orally translate the video interview into English. We then transcribed her translation. The video is here and our English transcripts here. You can click those. Among the major bombshells that Alexov dropped is that the leaders of the novel coronavirus-specific antibodies have been found. The body forms antibodies specific to pathogens it encounters. These specific antibodies are known as monoclonal antibodies and are a key tool in pathology. This is done via immunohistochemistry, which involves tagging antibodies with colors and then coating the biopsy or autopsy tissue slides with them. After giving the antibodies time to bind to the pathogens they're specific for, the pathologist can look at the slides under a microscope. Colored antibodies, and therefore the pathogens they're bound to, are located. Therefore, in absence of monoclonal antibodies to the novel coronavirus, pathologists cannot verify whether SARS-CoV-2 is present in the body or whether the disease and deaths attributed to it indeed were caused by the virus rather than by something else. It's easy to dismiss Dr. Alexov as just another crank conspiracy theorist. After all, many people believe they're everywhere these days, spreading dangerous misinformation about the COVID-19. In addition, little of what Dr. Alexov alleges was the consensus from the webinar in the publicly viewable parts of the proceedings. But keep in mind that whistleblowers often stand alone because the vast majority are afraid to speak out publicly. Also, Dr. Alexov has an impeccable record and reputation. He's been a physician for 30 years. He's president of the BPA, a member of the ESP's advisory board, and head of the histopathology department at the oncology hospital in the Bulgarian capital at Sofia. On top of that, there's other support for what he is saying. For example, the director of the Institute of Forensic Medicine at the University Medical Center Hamburg-Eppendorf in Germany said in media interviews that there is a striking dearth of solid evidence for COVID-19's lethality. COVID-19 is a fatal disease only in exceptional cases, but in most cases it is a predominantly. In quite a few cases, we have also found that the current corona infection has nothing whatsoever to do with the fatal outcome because other causes of death are present. For example, a brain hemorrhage or a heart attack, not particularly dangerous viral disease. All speculation about individual deaths that have not been expertly examined only fuel anxiety. Oh, my phone is blowing up today, and pourquoi? Hold on. Hey, Saoirse, go walk the dog now. She might be sleeping. My child was having a tantrum earlier. I don't have a dog, but she's walking other dogs for work. Okay. Also, another journalist, Amy Devereaux, documented on June 15th off-Guardian article that the novel coronavirus had not fulfilled this person's scientific steps used to prove whether a virus exists and has a one-to-one relationship with a specific disease. We showed that to date no one has proven SARS-CoV-2 causes a discrete illness matching the characteristics of all the people who ostensibly died from this COVID. Nor has the virus been isolated, reproduced, and then shown to cause this discrete illness. In addition, two more journalists, these two, added to the evidence that the existence of SARS-CoV-2 RNA is based on faith, not fact. And I think that's an article I posted quite a while back. The pair also confirmed there is no scientific proof that those RNA sequences deemed to match that of a novel coronavirus are the causative agent of what is called COVID-19. Dr. Alexov stated the main conclusion of those of us who participated in the May 8th webinar was that the autopsies that were conducted in Germany, Italy, Spain, France, and Sweden do not show that the virus is deadly. He added that what all of the pathologists said is that there's no one who has died from the coronavirus. I will repeat that. No one has died from the coronavirus. Dr. Alexov also observed there is no proof from autopsies that anyone deemed to have been infected with the novel coronavirus died only from an inflammatory reaction sparked by the virus, presenting as interstitial pneumonia, rather than from other potentially fatal diseases. Another revelation of his is that, quote, we need to see exactly how the law will deal with immunization and that vaccine we're all talking about because I'm certain it's currently not possible to create a vaccine against COVID. I'm not sure what exactly Bill Gates is doing with his laboratories. Is it really a vaccine he's producing or something else? As pointed to above, the inability to identify monoclonal antibodies for the virus suggests that there is no basis for vaccines, serological testing, and immunity certificates being rolled around the globe at unprecedented speed and cost. In fact, there is no solid evidence the virus even exists, and yet our country has laid its rights down for this. You guys, our country has laid their rights down for this. Dr. Alexov made still more important points. For example, he noted that in contrast to seasonal influenza, C2 has not proven to kill anyone that's young, no youth. Quote, with the flu, we can find one virus which can cause a young person to die with no other illness present. In other words, the coronavirus infection is an infection that does not lead to death. And the flu of severe maladies such as Kawasaki-like disease and stroke in young people who are deemed to have the novel coronavirus. However, the majority of published papers on these cases are short and include only one or a small handful of patients. Moreover, commenters on the papers note it's impossible to determine the role of the virus because the paper's authors did not control sufficiently, if at all, for confounding factors. If anybody knows anything about the scientific method, it is that you have to rule out confounding factors and you have to have a big case study. You have to have a lot of people included. And again, they lie with statistics anyway. It's most likely that children's deaths attributed to COVID-19 are in fact from multiple organ failure resulting from the combination of the drug cocktail given by physicians and ventilation that these children are subjected to. You guys, if people get put on a ventilator, they die. So don't go to a hospital with this. Take care of it at home. Take your tonic water, take your zinc, take your vitamin D, vitamin C, selenium, drink your colloidal silver, and stay away from the hospitals. Please. Dr. Alexov therefore asserted that creating worldwide chaos with no real facts behind what they among the myriad ways the WHO is creating that chaos is by prohibiting almost all autopsies of people deemed to have died from this. As a result, by May 13th, only 3 such autopsies had been conducted in Bulgaria. Also, the WHO is dictating that everyone said to be infected with the novel coronavirus who subsequently dies must have their deaths attributed to this COVID-19. Quote, that's quite stressful for us and for me in particular because we have protocols and procedures which we need to use. And another pathologist 100 years from now is going to say, hey, those pathologists didn't know what they were doing, deaths with COVID-19. So we really need to be proven and they could be checked again later, end quote. He disclosed that pathologists in several countries in Europe as well as in China, Australia, and Canada, are strongly resisting the pressure on them to attribute deaths to COVID-19 alone. Quote, I'm really sad that we need to follow the WHO's instructions without even thinking about them. But in Germany, France, Italy, and England, they're starting to think that we shouldn't follow the WHO so strictly, and instead we're writing the cause of death. They're writing the cause of death. We should have some pathology results, and we should follow the protocol. That's because when we say something, we need to be able to prove it. End quote. Oh man. Hold on. He added that autopsies could have helped confirm or disprove the theory that many of the people deemed died of it in Italy had previously received H1N1 flu vaccine, because, as he noted, the vaccine suppresses adults' immune systems and therefore may have been a significant contributor to their deaths by making them much more susceptible to infection. These two doctors agreed that yet another aspect of the WHO caused chaos and its fatal consequences is many people are likely to die soon from diseases such as cancer because of the lockdowns. They also observed that these diseases are by the fear and chaos surrounding it. Quote, we know that stress significantly suppresses the immune system, so I can really claim 200% that all the chronic diseases will be more severe and more acute per se. Specifically, in situ carcinoma, over 50% of these are going to be more invasive, so I will say that this epidemic isn't so much an epidemic of the virus, it's an epidemic of giving people a lot of fear and stress. In addition, posited Dr. Alexov, and as another direct and dire result of the pandemic panic, many people are losing their faith in physicians, as they should. Quote, because in my opinion, the coronavirus isn't that dangerous, and how are people going to have trust in me doing cancer pathology, much of which is related to viruses as well, but nobody, end quote. We emailed Dr. Alazov questions, including asking why he believes it's impossible to create a vaccine. He didn't answer questions directly. Instead, he responded with this, I do 1,000%, accept all information, blah, blah, blah. So they're also emailing the colleagues. Anyway, they're hoping to get a response, but they're not getting it. But it's probably because they think it's a pressure on pathologists to follow the WHO's directives and not speak out publicly. And that's why they're probably not responding. On top of that, pathology departments depend on governments for their funding. But nonetheless, pathologists like Dr. Alexov and Puchel appear to be willing to step out and say that no one has died from this coronavirus infection, and with good reason. They give a lot of good information here. Perhaps that's because pathologists' records and reputations are based on hard physical evidence rather than on subjective interpretation of tests, signs, and symptoms, and there's no hard physical evidence that this is deadly. Very important. I'll drop the article again. And I hope you share it with your friends, your family, even the haters and the non-believers, because this is so important. This is so important that we have laid down all our rights completely to this. And this article rings more true to me than anything I've read. I've had discussions with people who believe in this, and all they're watching is mainstream media news, you guys. So please, please, please share this. I'm so sorry about the buffering. I'm so sorry if this didn't work that well. But the information is important enough that I'm going to persevere and just hope that maybe I can get this link spread far and wide. I don't have a lot of reach, but I need your guys' help, okay? So with that, I'm going to sign off for now, and I wish you peace and love of the Lord, and hopefully I'll be coming back and doing some more Daniel study very soon. All right, spread this far and wide, guys. There's the article. I'll even pin it to the top. Please tell everyone you can. I don't care how crazy they think you are. Tell everybody. Peace.
Beat yo, beat yo.